My name is Albert Mngwango, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Land Reform and Rural Development of Parliament of the Republic of South Africa. I will take this opportunity to introduce to you members, honorable members, who are actually members of this committee. On my extreme right, with the headgear, is Honorable Mthethwa. We are a multi-party delegation. The committees in Parliament actually are established as multi-party entities. On my immediate right is Honorable Maseko. On my left is Honorable Betama, Honorable Mkhaga, and Honorable Nana. We have our support staff led by our secretary of this committee, Mr. Lwazi Ben, and Dr. Manenze, who is our advisor. And there are two ladies, I don't know where they are seated, Cynthia and Tembi. Tembi, our researcher, and Cynthia, the assistant secretary of the committee. I know that we have also the delegation of senior officials of the department from Pretoria and also locally here at the provincial level. I will actually then request the Deputy Director General to actually come and introduce herself, and then the team, the department, the team from the department. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you, Chairperson, and to the members of the Portfolio Committee. My name is Busisiwe. My surname is Letompa. I'm working with the provinces of Provincial Department of Land Reform and Rural Development. With me, we've got a team that is stationed here in the Eastern Cape, which I will request in Tatim Ketezi, you know your team better. You better join me as soon as possible so that we can indicate to the committee members who are the team and their respective portfolios, because this is what is important for today.
All right, thank you so much. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning to the honorable members. Good morning to the executive management of government, to all the colleagues, all the stakeholders that are on board, parliamentary support staff. As stated by the DDG, my name is Phakamisa Mketezi. I'm the Chief Director responsible for the Provincial Office of the Department. In terms of the management that we have in the department, we've got Mr. Gongleka, Mr. Teti, and also Mr. Prince, who can just stand up, all three of you. And then there are also officials that are providing support. If you can just stand up, all of you. This. Yes, thank you. From the district office. And then the Department of Agriculture, we've got Mr. Bess from the Office of the MEC. We've got Dr. Ntondini from the Provincial Office, if you can. Then we've got Dr. Khozani from the District Office. That is as far as it is in terms of the officials from the province. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I understand that besides the department, there are also other stakeholders that are here. As you would probably be aware, that we are here at the behest of beneficiaries of the Farm Workers Equity Scheme, the local here, because they petitioned the Speaker of Parliament. So we are here to interact with them as petitioners to actually interrogate the issues that they raised. So I want to make sure that they are also here. I understand in their petitioning us, the NGOs, some NGOs were actually playing a central role in assisting our people to do that. So I just want to find out, are they here or what is the situation? The NGOs that are here, I would like to invite them to introduce themselves. Yeah. You will get the mic.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Good morning to the members of the Portfolio Committee, to the officials of the department, and to all the other people that are present here today. My name is Sipesi Mguga. I'm an attorney at the Legal Resources Center based in the Makhanda office. Now I'm going to introduce Ms. Retabile Cindy, who is a candidate attorney in our office as well. I'm here with Mr. Dada, but I would like Mr. Dada and David to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Chairperson, and Simpiwe Dada. I'm working for Kanyisa Education Endowment Trust, who are based in PE.
Morning, everyone. My name is Nosipho Mengu, an organizer of Kouga Farm Workers Reunion.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Neves. I work for an NGO called Surplus People Project based in the Western Cape, and we previously liaised with the department in the Western Cape and arranged facilitated the Portfolio Committee to visit a whole range of these schemes in the Western Cape earlier this year. I'm simply here observing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm wondering whether the beneficiaries themselves are here. Can we be assisted to establish whether there is anyone from the beneficiaries directly?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I am Dandosim Kele. I'm with the Royal House of Amandambo. And we are here with King Khalin Lovu and Mr. Achim Kele. We represent Amandambo, the clan, in regards to the land that is around here, actually. Yeah. Amandambo. Amandambo. Okay.
So can we safely say that the local equity scheme is actually represented by yourself? Is that the affirmative? The mic.
Yes, Dr. Yes.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you. Thank you so much. Having introduced ourselves, all of us, I would like to invite the DDG again to please come forward and give us an overview. She will know how to handle that. But protocol actually demands that I invite her to come up again. I must apologize for being rude to a lady to actually cause her to walk up and down.
Okay.
Because you had actually indicated that the chief director would be the one who you are free to invite him to come and, or the entire team.
Once more, thank you, Chairperson, and once more, good morning to Ingosi Uklala Giakashela. Giaztoba Kuni. Giabulisa ngemina namhlanje. Chairperson, I think first and foremost, I will call the colleagues from the province just to give when I spoke to them yesterday, Chairperson, I indicated to the colleagues that we need to be brutal honest when it comes to issues with reference to these schemes, so that we don't leave a bitter taste in the face of the members to have the impressions that we are somehow keeping the information, we act as what we are not. Ours is to be officials and be honest to their questions. Where we do not know the information, don't try to be economical and try to make yourself what you are not. Ndadem Gedezi, you have to come and be with me because it's important that we also have to apologize to the members with reference to some of the issues which the chairperson was Ndate Mkhaga yesterday, where there were some of the concerns that were raised by members, and we also have an obligation as government officials to apologize for maladministration that occurred and some of the issues we could not address yesterday and the embarrassment that we have all caused regardless of who was responsible for. But from the side of the department, I take the responsibility and I will officially apologize to members in writing with a reference to what happened yesterday, to those that have experienced what happened yesterday. Before he can also explain this, I also promised members yesterday that I will provide clarity on some of the issues that were raised yesterday, especially with a reference to the second farm that I've indicated it was never part of the scheme, which it is that particular farm. I want to assure members that one, it's a fully black-owned company farm. It's a Car2 project, fully black-owned. The one where the members said they've received dividends of what, plus minus 3 something and 80 something. It's a fully black-owned restitution program, which we recently, in the past 5 years, we were there with Minister Didiza to award the project. So I wanted just to, it was not part of the projects that were discussed, which members raised some issues with. So over to you, Ndadem Gedezi. Please take members through the entire process of this particular scheme.
All right, thank you. Greetings once again, Honorable Chair and members. Honorable Mkhaga yesterday made a statement stating that, I quote, "If you want to have a feel of how democracy is in the country, go and spend a month in the farms." And I think that statement was very profound, and it is panning out today. The daily living conditions of our people and the ill treatment thereof are glaring. They showed themselves yesterday. They even continue to show themselves even today. But also on my side, let me also apologize for what panned out yesterday, but to say that there was probably a communication breakdown in terms of the responsibilities between ourselves as the departmental official and the parliamentary officials, as some of the issues when we were engaging, where they were deemed to be being undertaken by public participation officers within Parliament, but later came out that it looks like even us as the department, there was an expectation from our side as well, and we apologize for that misunderstanding between ourselves, and we say it is a lesson that we take upon ourselves, and we will ensure that going forward we correct that there will be no gaps going forward. It is not every day that you get to have a visit of the portfolio committee, so it is a lesson curve to some of us, but we take those lessons and saying we're going to improve going forward. But in terms of the program today, there was a directive from the members to say that let us ensure that as the officials we bring forth 3 beneficiaries of the Buggis Hook farm. And we duly communicated with them yesterday, and we allocated an official and a vehicle that was going to collect them. The official was there in Hanki at 7 o'clock this morning. 2 of them had switched off their phone, and one who picked up the phone said he needs to be given time to prepare, and it's an old man. So it took longer and longer for the official to wait for the beneficiary. They are on their way, honorable members, and I'm confident that they will arrive before we conclude our engagement. And then in terms of the farm that was sampled, which is a grassland. Grassland is a farm that was supported by the department in terms of acquiring 2 portions of land amounting to 485 hectares. It had 49 beneficiaries, and the transaction was done in 2004. And the land, the title was transferred to their trust, which is called Grassland Development Trust. And they entered into a share milking agreement with Grassland Group. They were to contribute with the land, and then Grassland Group was to provide livestock, movable farming equipment, provide management expert, and some of the labor experienced labor. I must state that the amount that they were funded for was 3.2 million. I must state that Chair, prior to the portfolio committee visit, I personally conducted a pre-visit in all the 5 farms that were sampled, and I engaged with the beneficiaries of grassland. And I must say that out of all those that we visited, it was a very pleasing experience, wherein the beneficiaries were so happy and saying that their livelihood have been changed. They are working very well with their strategic partner. One of them was even say that he studied a diploma at Fort Cox, and he's one of the managers. They are part of the signatories all the financial transactions that take place, they sign, and there's a maximum transparency in terms of the operations of the business entity, and they are saying that they get to be sent to attend short courses that are equipping them, and they were even saying they would appreciate even if government can come and buy it for them another farm so that they can expand their operations. But unfortunately, they stated that today they've got an event and they will be attending that particular event, so they won't be able to meet the parliamentarians, but they would be willing to one day, when there's an opportunity, to even come to Cape Town and present their project and the good interventions and the good working relations that they have with their strategic partner, and the improvement on their livelihood or living conditions thereof. So that is as far, Honorable Chair, it is with regards to today. And then later on, we will be having a second segment of our engagement in Port Elizabeth, whereby we'll be meeting some of the beneficiaries from restitution and also from the land reform side that had raised concerns with the portfolio committee. I think that is as far as it is, Honorable Chair, with regards to the briefing from us as the department. And apologies once again for everything that, the misfortunes that transpired yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. We will wait for any questions and we will make sure that we will respond to some.
Thank you, DDG. I just hope that honorable members were actually taking note. They were taking notes of this presentation by the department, but I am more interested in actually hearing from the NGOs that represent the equity schemes, and also and from the equity, the beneficiaries themselves, in that kind of order. And then I will allow members to engage afterwards. If you may come forward, please.
Thank you again, Chairperson, for the opportunity. So, as I mentioned before, I'm from the Legal Resources Center, which is a public interest law firm, and our firm works very closely with Ikhanyisa Education and Development Trust. And we have mentioned on quite a number of occasions that the schemes that we have been directly working with are the schemes that we visited yesterday, right? We have never worked with the scheme with Grassland specifically. And I think it's because they are operating quite well, because when people come to us, they come to us reporting the challenges that they're experiencing. But I find it wanting that the beneficiaries are not here to attest to the benefits that they've been receiving, because what we've been saying for the past 2 days is that we have represented beneficiaries for quite a number of times where we have spoken on their behalf. So this was an opportunity for the portfolio committee to hear it from the horse's mouth that this is what we're experiencing on the ground. It's quite unfortunate that they were not able to make it today to communicate and say, these are the benefits that we've been reaping from this specific government initiative. So now I'd like to hand over to Mr. Dada, who can possibly share his experiences and see, then we can find out whether he's worked specifically with Grassland or not, because we work with him specifically. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chairperson. Chairperson, again, as she was indicating, we never have worked in this area of Humansdorp. So we do not know this group called Grassland. Ours was to work in Kekut with those groups on the first day and also on the groups in Nangi on the second day. So we're hoping that we're gonna also meet with them and hear from them in this meeting, but of course they are not here, so we do not know about them. Thank you, Chairperson.
Well, thank you. So I mean, the lady actually has said it upfront that they do not necessarily have any interaction with the Grassland grouping here. Okay, well, that is accepted. Can we then hear from Umama, who actually comes from, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. We are from Isibana CPA, you know, in Henki. I've been approached by the beneficiaries of Isibana CPA who are disgruntled. This is a project that we started many years ago, and I was elected as the chairman of Isibana CPA. In 2018, I was voted out. Some people were being influenced, including my family members. And most of that land belonged to my family. What happened, a new chairman came in. And what he did, because knowing that most of our people on farm are not educated people, they are not knowledgeable. So he used to come to meetings. I was sidelined from 2018. But I'm the one who started the whole project with the neighboring farmer. Because we were given funds, almost R1 million from the land, from the land Department of Land Affairs. And I refused that amount because I said to the people, we know nothing about farming. So I'm not going to accept that money, and we decided that we'll have a joint venture partnership with the neighboring farmer, of which there was a good working relationship. And when this youngster came in, then he sidelined us. And then he continued. But what is happening now, he has sold the land, and part of the portion of that land, I spoke to the government, and they bought for the laborers also to be part of the CPA for about 1.2 million. I hear that now he sold that portion to a white guy and is giving people dividends of 100,000, 70,000 there, and he doesn't disclose for how much he sold that farm for, and he's paying himself millions. And I've checked his family, even through the deeds office, through my contacts, worked in Parliament. His family hasn't got a title deed. And our families got title deeds to that land. So some beneficiaries, then they approached me to take a legal route because they were not happy with what is happening there. He reduced the number. There were about 149 beneficiaries there. But I hear now there's a new list of beneficiaries. He reduced the number with his friends so that they can make more money when they do dividends. So these people in Hagen, they phoned me, and I came down with the king. We sat down, we had a meeting with them. And they said, we'll have to take this matter forward to the government officials. And I hear that he also bought a business here next to Humansdorp, not this place here. But he bought a business also there in the name of his son. And he's a government official. He worked as a policeman. About 2-3 weeks back, I believe he resigned. A 50-year-old, he resigned from his job. Now, I even went to my other brother now in Henge, 49-year-old. He was appointed as a treasurer. I mean, he can't even write his name. Now this guy always phoned him to sign for him to deduct, to withdraw money from the bank. Even now he showed me now this morning through his phone. He has got a list of all the transactions. Now the people there are in that situation here in Hengi. This guy stealing money from the people. And it's not right for people to steal from the poor people to enrich themselves. That's why we brought this to your attention. That we need the government to assist us. We want our land back because we were told by the Department of Land Affairs, we cannot sell people's land. They gave us land so that we're going to work on that land so that the people may benefit out of it. But now this guy, this is what he's doing. I was looking at the transactions not even this morning. Their monies, the other people don't know what their money is for. So we're in that situation. I'm one of the beneficiaries. It's a pity that we got the information about this meeting later. Otherwise, some of the beneficiaries would have been here this morning. I stay in PE, but most of my family stays here in Hengi. I'm the one who's responsible for anything to do with my family. This is all I have to say now. Thank you. Mnage, my name is Archie Mkele. Mkele. Yes. I used to be a ubiquitous Archie Mkele in those days. Yes. Oh, yeah. Rugby. Even yesterday we buried one of our top players, Temba Lutwaba. The Kwaru. We used to play for Kwaru and South African Rugby Union in those days.
Thank you, Honorable Mr. Mkele. Mama, is there anything that you would like to say? No. Oh, okay. Just one small clarity-seeking question whilst you're standing there, Mr. Mkele, is whether there has been any interaction between you and the department about all the issues and the challenges that you have actually been outlining for us here.
No, it's for the first time. True that I think our king was liaising with one of the portfolio members.
Secondly, if I may ask, are you the CPA or equity scheme?
No, unfortunately, no. We are a CPA. Oh, this is for equity scheme, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was asking because I think for now we are focusing on the equity schemes, and I had thought that Umama actually comes from the beneficiaries of the equity scheme. You know, not that we are not going to listen and entertain what you are saying, but we are for now focusing on the grasslands.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. The last time I saw you was in ad hoc committee.
Thank you. Then I will invite honorable members to have, to engage their presentations by way of questions or comments. I will recognize hands. I wonder if Utata Labesimlindile has arrived. I know that usadinga ixesha elincinci to cool off and then but if he is ready to share with us in his experiences of the equity scheme, then I'm ready to give him an opportunity to do so. Kukona abesambisana nabo whom I actually forgot to introduce. There are staff members from Parliament abasilekelelayo basincedisa ngoku translate noku interpreta lokho esikhulumayo so that all of us can actually follow. Where are our interpreters? Oh, we have I see a forest of hands, so we so we are very well represented. All languages are represented here. So utata angathetha nje akhululeke, there are people who are going to interpret if need be. Kanimpege I
Ek praat Afrikaans. So. Goeiemôre almal in die saal vanmôre.
Good morning to everyone in the hall today.
Ek is Abraham Windvogel daar van Ankie Pakkieshoek Farmerstras.
I am Abram Windvogel from the Hankie Farms.
Ek is daar by Pakkieshoekplaas as 'n eienaar van Pakkieshoektras.
I am on the Bakkieshoek farm as an owner of the Bakkieshoek Trust.
As 'n eienaar van die farm het ek nooit die voorreg gehad om te werk op die plaas en te sê op die plaas nie.
As an owner of the farm, I never had the privilege to have a say on the farm or to engage with anything that is happening there.
Van ons 28 mense wat op die plaas was, het meneer Besuitnout besluit, hy gaan die plaas verkoop aan sy seun en waarvan ons is net 2 à 3 wat oorgebly het op die plaas.
Of the 28 people that was there on the farm, Mr. Besuitnout decided to sell the farm and then we were only 3 left.
En hy het maar besluit, hy gaan die plaas aan sy seun verkoop. En met die tyd van die verkoop van die plaas, het ek verhuis van die plaas af na 'n ander plaas toe gaan werk.
And he sold the farm to his son, and after he did that, I decided that I would now move away to go work somewhere else.
Maar ons as Pakkieshoekwerkers het nooit die voorreg gehad om te sê op die plaas te werk op die plaas. Ons het altyd op sy grond gewerk, maar hy gaan werk namens ons op ons gronde. Maar ons het nooit sê gesê op ons eie gronde nie. Hy het altyd die sê gesê in die eerste en die laaste gesê op daai gronde.
So as owners of those farms or lands, we never had the privilege ourselves to go work those lands. This man went to work on our lands on our behalf.
As hy sade aankoop, enigiets wat gedoen word, als doen hy op hom eie. Ons is nooit deel daarvan gewees om ook besluite te kan neem nie oor die plant en wat ook al daar op die plaas gedoen was.
He always did everything by himself. We were never part of the decision making. He would plant by himself and do everything by himself.
En ons was 5 komiteelede gewees wat hy samen self gekies het. Ons het nie self gekies nie. Hy het hulle gekies en hy het besluit te geneem en hy sê vir die oudste oom wat ongeletterd was, meneer Joseph Langklas, hy het saam met hom groot geword en hy neem die besluite en hy sê vir Dion vir Langklas wat moet gedoen word en Langklas kom na ons toe en hy sê dat ons het nooit besluite van onsself geneem op ons eie gronde nie.
So we were 5 committee members, and he appointed an uneducated person with a name.
Joseph Langklas, maar he's already passed away.
Joseph Langklas, who has already passed away as a chairperson there, or as the leader there, but we never once again had part in the decision-making processes.
En as ons vergaderingen aan het, als is kort en krachtig. Maar tijdens, als ons klaar is met die vergaderings, maar ook in die oor die basisse goede nie, maar hier voorlands, als ons klaar is, dan sê vir ons mag geen documenten samen ons vat nie, dat moet by omgehou word, want die goede gaan wegraak, en whatever by ons was nooit in besit van ons eiendomme gewees, as plaas eienaars nie.
Okay, and if we had meetings, then it was always short and sweet. He told us that we could not take any documents from the meetings with us because it might get lost. So we never had access to take the documents with us.
En as beplan word om ons gaan nou plant nou. Ons is nie deel van die een se seun het alleenlik hierdie goeder gedoen. Ons moet net volg soos wat hulle vir ons sê. Ons kon nie besluite neem nie. En hy het gesê ons mag niks op daardie plaas doen nie. Ons mag eens 'n boompie verwyder nie. Ons mag niks doen nie. Dat moet bly so tot en met hy besluit wat ons gaan doen eendag.
And if they were to be planted on the farm, we weren't part of that decision making. He and his son decided. So we could not do anything on our farm that we wanted to. They made all the decisions.
En as dit kom by die shares, as ons geoes het vir hierdie jare, dan sommige tye hoe meetings, sommige tye hoe nie meetings nie. As ons net sien, dan sien ons nie, als is verby en als is doodstil, niemand bespreek niks ook een met ons nie, aangaande die plaas van Bakkies ook nie.
And if it came to harvesting season, we weren't part of that decisions either. He just told us that he would do it and we should just accept whatever he says we should do.
En as het kom by 'n meeting sekere tye, as sê vir ons het 'n meeting aan. Gaan ons na die meeting toe, dan sê vir ons luister, vir ons as 5 komiteelede, julle is 28, maar ek is alleen. En wat ons moet doen? Hy het self besluit, hy sê 60% is syne. 60% is syne en 40% is ons as die 28 werkers. Maar wat hy doen in hierdie 40% van ons wat ons moet kry, dan betaal hy alles wat moet gedoen word, water, sade, enige goed wat moet gedoen word, dan betaal hy dit en waarvan die 40 bly in die kas, wat ons vandag nog eens weet wat se kas is dit nie en ons weet nie waar het hy gelde heen toe gegaan nie.
So he said to us clearly that he owns 60% and we only own 40%. So out of that 40% that we owned, he paid things like water and so forth out of our share.
En op 'n dag het hulle e-mails geskryf na Lentefees toe. Toe sê die werkgewer van my, ek moet sy assistent by die kantoor werk, ek moet kom teken in die kantoor. Toe vra vir luister, hoekom ons dan altyd teken, maar daar gebeur dan niks nie. Ons kry dan niks op hierdie plaas, maar elke keer moet ons teken. Toe vra ek, wat is dit wat ek moet teken, want ek is nou al moeg geteken. Toe sê ek, nee man, ek weier om te teken, ek gaan nie daarmee in nie. Toe sê sy vir my, ek moet kom kyk op die kantoor, wat is dit wat ek moet teken?
And every time we go to the offices, then we are told, or I'm told, to sign things. And I keep on questioning what I'm signing because I never know what I'm signing. So I said, I'm tired of signing these things and I don't want to sign it anymore.
En ek sê toe vir meneer Ebert se seun, ek sê vir hom, luister, ek is al moeg geteken. En as ek het jou kinders, ek het jou ingeteken in die plaas en ek het jou kinders nog wel ingeteken, wat moet ek nou nog teken? Toe sê ek weier om te teken, ek gaan nie teken nie.
And I said to this Mr. Eben's son that I'm tired of signing and I signed you and your children into it and I'm not going to sign anymore.
En met die gaan ek doen net die kantoor toe bo, ek gaan kyk toe wat is dit wat gesign is. En ek vra oor die dame wat daar werk, vra luister, Ons is nou al so jare in hierdie trust, maar sê net vir my, as ek daarom geregtig om te lees, om te kyk wat gaan binne in die goed. En elke keer moet ons teken, maar ons weet nie 'n klou wat gaan aan binne in hierdie goedere nie.
Then I asked the lady at the office whether I can know what I was signing, because I explained to her that I've been signing things for so long and I never understand what exactly I am signing.
Sy sê toe vir my, nee, my nickname is Trommel. Sy sê, nee Trommel, jy het nie reg. Toe vra ek wie die ding opgestel. Ek vra sy jy, sy sê ja, ek sê wel, dat ek maar dan kyk vandag wat gaan, want elke keer moet ons teken, maar ons weet nie waaroor gaan het nie. Maar in die brief sien ek toe, ons het 'n goeie jaar daai jaar gehad, 'n oes. Sy sê toe vir my, ek kan kyk, ek sê toe, nee maar mevrou man, volgens wat jy hier opgestel het, is mos nie reg nie. Ek vra wie die ding opgestel, ek vra sy jy of wie is dit? Sy sê ja, dis ek. Ek sê nee mevrou, jy weet mos, ek kan nie my hand in 'n vuur insit en ek weet hy gaan brand nie. Ek sê dis mos vergeet mos. Binne in hierdie ding het meneer Besuitnoot aan die Lentefees geskryf om te sê, ons as bakkies hoekwerkers is tevrede. Daar is die oes vir 'n jaar nie. Daar is die geld nie, maar ek moet teken. Sê ek nee, ek weier.
So again, the lady started explaining, and I asked her whether she was the one who drafted these documents, and she indicated that she was the one. And then I said to her that these things I've been signing, I don't want to sign them, and it doesn't make sense why it's been drafted in a specific way that is how it was drafted. And we had a good harvest year, that year that I inquired about.
Toe sê ek vir haar, nee, ek weier om te teken, ek gaan nie teken nie. Sê jy vir meneer Besuitnoot, ek Trommel sê ek weier, ek gaan nie teken nie. Sê vir my, ek sê ek gaan nie teken nie. Met hier toe loop ek uit by die deur.
So I said to her, you can tell Mr. Besuitnoot, I will not sign, and I refuse to sign, and that's when I walked out the door.
Na so 20 minute kom meneer Besuitnoot in sy seun onder, waar ek die trok afspuit. Hy vra vir die ander kollega, die jong kotte van my, hey, is jy nou weer opgemaak nou weer? Hoekom was jou aan gaan teken na bo?
And then Mr. Besuitnoot and his son arrived, and he said to me, while I was actually washing the truck, and he said to me, why are you here? You're supposed to go sign.
Hy sê toe, ja bas, ek gaan nou my ander was, ek gaan nou gaan sign. En hy kom na my toe, hy vra, yes, hoekom maak jy mense so op? Ek vra vir hom, hoe maak ek mense op? Ek sê, kan mos die mense op, ek kan nie vir mense besluit nie, maar vir het vergeerd is vergeerd.
Yes. So then this colleague of mine asked me, why am I kind of turning people against this process? And I said, no, that's not what I'm doing, but we can't keep on signing things that we don't know what we're signing.
Besuitnoot se seun sê vir my, sien jy Trommel, ek wil jou vertel vandag, jy is te kak om vir 28 mense te reël. Jy gaan nie vir 28 mense reël nie. Ek sê vir jou, jy gaan sign. Ek sê wel, indien ek nie wil gaan sign nie, kap maar my vingers af, dan gaan teken jy met hulle, maar ek weier definitief om te teken.
So then Mr. Besuitnoot said to me, I am a piece of shit and I should go sign those documents. And I said, I will not sign it. If you want me to sign, then cut off my fingers and take that to sign. But I refuse to sign.
En met verloop van tyd, toe sien ek hulle werk my nie goed op die plaas, want ons het nooit op ons plaas gewerk, ons het op meneer Besuitnoot se plaas gewerk. Ons het maar net die naam gedra wat ons plaas het, maar het ons nooit binne vet gehad van 'n plaas nie.
So we always worked on Mr. Besuitnoot's farm, not on our own farm that we had. We always worked on his farm.
Toe besluit ek toe nee, ek gaan maar liewer die werk los by meneer Besuitnoot. Ek gaan iewers ander vir my gaan werk soek, want hulle behandel my sleg nou, want hulle sê ek is te politiek.
So then I decided to go look for work somewhere else and not work for Mr. Besuitnoot anymore, because they said I was too political.
En met verloop van tyd, toe hoor ek maar hulle sê, toe die jare geloop het, toe sê hulle die plaas is op die mark, die plaas gaan nou verkoop word nou.
And as the years passed, they now said that the farm would now be sold.
En van hierdie werkers kom na my toe en sê toe vir my, luister, meneer Besuitnoot soek jou, hy sê jy moet kom teken, ek vra vir wat moet ek teken, ek sê ek het niks uit te wy met bakkies hoek meer nie.
And some of these colleagues came to me and said to me, Mr. Besuitnoot is looking for you, he wants you to sign something again. And I said to them, what does he want me to sign? I have nothing to do with bakkies hoek anymore.
Hulle sê toe my nee, Meneer Besuidenhout sê ons gaan groot geld verdien. Ek vra wat so groot geld? Ek sê nee, ek weier om my aandeel te verkoop. Ek verkoop niks nie.
And they said to me, no, there's big money that can be earned. And he said, no, I said no. I refuse to sell my shares.
Met een tyd toe ek so weg is van die plaas of my niggie werk in die kantore Annie en waarvan sy het ook die shares wat die Annie boys en hulle het elke dag haar geforseer om te teken. Het gesê sy weier om saam met om te teken. Sy gaan alles met my doen en sy stop alles net so.
And my cousin, whose name is Annie Boyson, she also has shares, and they also forced her to sign a lot of documents, but she decided to stand with me and stop signing all these documents that she's not aware what she's signing.
En op die einde van die dag toe Annie nie meer wil sy nie, toe vernekel haar, hulle sê brar, sy het naar 'n kontrak hernie, en waarvan haar gesien het is nie meer so goed nie, en sy gaan nou hernie die kontrak, wat sy nie weet nie, sy gaan na die man se seun toe gaan sy oor as 'n werker, as 'n nuwe werker.
So then Annie was forced to sign a new contract, a renewed contract, where she was not aware that she was going to work for this man's son.
En achterna toe sal iemand vir haar sê, Annie, weet jy wat het jy geteken? Jy is nou as 'n nuwe werker nou, want hy het geweet wat op pad is, toe gee hy oor aan die seun, laat die seun moet voortgaan van die plaas, en hy wil nie meer in bewind wees nie.
And afterwards, people asked Annie if she was aware about what she signed, and they said, are you aware you just signed yourself off to this man's son to work for him?
En dink is 2020, toe sê die mense vir my, hulle het getekend, ek is onnoosel, ek het nie getekend nie, hulle het baie geld te kry, 120,000 het elk van hulle gekry.
In 2020, the people told me that they signed things and they received a lot of money, 120,000 rand.
Toe vra hulle vir my, hoekom as ek so onnoosel, hoekom wil ek ook nie kom teken nie, weet ek hoe baie geld het hulle gekry, toe sê ek vir hulle, geld is nie vir my nie, die plaas is die beste vir my.
So then they said to me, am I dumb? Dude, why didn't I sign? Because they received so much money. And I said, money doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the farm.
En Mr. Besuidenhout, net so na 2 maanden na die verkoop van die plaas, kom meneer Besuidenhout en meneer Joseph Langklas na my toe.
And after 2 months, Mr. Besuidenhout and Mr. Langklas came to me.
En hy sê vir my, luister Trommel, as jy vandag nie teken nie, ek gaan in die moeilikheid beland as jy nie teken. Toe vraag vir hom, hoe kan jy wil in die moeilikheid beland? Dit is mos niks om my te want, dit is mos julle wat verkoop, dit is mos nie ek wat verkoop nie.
And he came to me and he said, we're going to be in trouble because you're not signing. And I said, but how can you be in trouble if I don't sign? It's you that want to sell the farm, not me.
Toe sê ek, nee, julle meen vrede los, want ek as niks om bakkies hoek meer uit te waai nie. Julle het mos klaar verkoop, julle het gekry wat julle wil hê, julle het die seun, die plaas aan Eben Besuidenhout verkoop, so ek het nie meer sê nie.
So then I said, no, you must leave me in peace. You sold the farm to the son, Eben Besuidenhout, so I have nothing to do with Bakkieshoek anymore.
En hulle het gewag net so na 5 jaar, toe verkoop hulle weer die grond aan mooie boerdery, aan Madeleine Ferreira.
So they waited 5 years and then they sold the farm to Mooi Boerdery.
En waarvan Madeleine het uitgevind, sy is nie alleen op hierdie grond nie, en sy het dit weer oor gaan verkoop aan Krantepree.
And then Madurai, the lady that bought it, realized she's not the only one on the farm, so she sold it again. To
Krantepree.
Krantepree.
He's nou the owner on the farm now. En wat net so sleg is vir my van alles, ek as 'n plaas-eienaar vir hoeveel jaar?
What is just bad about this whole situation, I've been a farm owner for so many years.
Vir hoeveel jaar as ek 'n plaas-eienaar, maar glo my, ek bly vir oor 30 jaar bly ek in 'n plaatehuis. Tydens reën en wind, dan gaan dit bietjie vir my baie sleg in daai huis, maar ek is 'n plaas-eienaar wat ek nie kan verstaan nie.
For 30 years, I've been a farm owner, and I'm living in like a sink house. And with the rain and the winds and everything, I can't understand why I have to suffer like this if I'm a farm owner.
Ek het kinders wat skool loop, en die salaris wat ek verdien is eens nie so groot nie, maar ek is 'n plaas-eienaar.
I have children at school. The salary I earn is not even that big, but I'm a farm owner.
My oudste seun moet volgende jaar matriek doen, maar ek weet nie waar sy laaste jaar op skool op matriek, maar ek weet nie hoe gaan ek vooruit gaan nie as ek vir so min salaris werk, maar ek is 'n plaas-eienaar.
My eldest son is now a matric, and I don't know how I'm going to move forward on the salary that I currently have, but yet I'm a farm owner.
En wat so sleg is vir my hierdie naggie van my wat saam met my werk, wat 'n aandeelhouer is vir my pakkies hoek. Daai besynots op daai plaas, hulle werk bietjie sleg maar as gevolg van sy wil nie teken nie. Maar hulle forceer haar aan om te teken. Sy sê sy weier om te teken. Sy was verlede week was op potensie op die meeting gewees.
I'm also very worried about my cousin that is still on the Besaidenout farm because they're treating her illy. Or bad because she's still there, and I think she was in the meeting last week in Potensie.
Potensie. En sy sê elke keer vir my sy kry lus om te los haar by Besaidenout en haar man is nou hier by 3-4 jaar as haar man oorlede. Sy's alleen werker in die huis nou en sy werk in die kombuis by hulle, maar sy het nie ander keuse en sy moet net werk want sy het nie ander werk nie.
And my cousin's husband has passed away 3 or 4 years ago. So she's the only person that is bringing in a salary in the house. So she's working in their kitchen. And she has no other choice but to do that because she needs to provide for herself.
En as hy enige meeting is wat ek haar inlig oor goedere wat ons meetings het, as sy is vir my luister, ek is bang, ek kan nie gaan nie, want ek is bang vir meneer Besaidenout hulle gaan my wegjaag as ek na enige meeting toe goede na toe gaan. Toe sê sy, gaan jy maar liewer sir.
And if there's any meeting that's being held, she tells me that she's too scared to go. She's scared of Mr. Besaidenout, and then she rather tells me to go because she's so scared.
En maar enige iets wat gebeur daar by plaas, iets vreemd wat sy weet, dan kom lig sy my in aan gaan dit want ek is mos nou op die plaas en sy werk mos daar mos nou.
But anything strange that happens on the farm, she would come and inform me about it because I'm not on the farm anymore.
En waarvan meneer Besaidenout dit maar nou besluit, hy is weg van Pakkieshoek farmers op die vlakte plaas. Hy is maar nou as 'n seun op die plaas. Die seun het maar nou oorgevat. En waarvan ek het nou so paar weke terug het ek met hom gesels en waarvoor nou nog in fynere details ingegaan het met hom gaan dat die grond. Maar toe kom iemand aan, toe kan ons nie verder gaan nie, want ek wou my uitgevra dat omtrent wat gaan aan, wat Pakkieshoek betref, en hy wil mos nie mense nou oor sulke goeie praat nie. As jy oor sulke goeie praat, dan vir my jy sommer baie gewoon, ek is glad nie wil daarvoor nie.
So I wanted to speak to Mr. Besaidenout's son about the land that we own, and then in the middle of our conversation we were interrupted. And I know that they actually don't like discussing this specific topic of the land.
Dan is het basis maar alles wat ek kan sê, maar soos ek weerlin sê, ek kort reg waarop. Maar wat die beste is van alles, die grond is die belangrikste van alles.
And that's basically what I wanted to say, but all I want to say is again that the land is most important above all.
Soos daai grond daar is, mag ek eens nie daar gaan loop nie. Jy kan eens in die rivier se gedeelte loop wat aan die raad behoort, daar word gevra wat maak jy op my grond?
As it stands now, I can't even walk on my own land. Even if I go to the river that's just underneath the land, then I am asked, what am I doing on their land?
Dis wat ek doen, net 'n beroep asseblief.
That's why I please ask for help.
As u my net kan help om my grond terug te kry en dat ek kan hulp sal kry om kan voort te gaan op ons eie grond.
If you can just help me to get my land back so that I can strive on my own land.
Dan sal ek regtig dit waardeer want dit is nie lekker om so aan te gaan nie.
Then I would really appreciate it because it's not nice to go on like this.
Want almal sien neer op my. Hulle sê ek is 'n plaas-eienaar, maar ek besit niks nie. Ek het eens 'n huis van myself, ek het eens 'n voertuig van myself, sê hulle vir my.
everyone looks down on me because they say I'm a farm owner, but I don't even have a proper house, I don't even have a car, but I'm a farm owner.
En dit word nog genoem, ek moet maar liewers my aandeel gaan vat by meneer Besuitenhout en waarvan ek moet vir my huis koop en 'n voertuig koop en ek vra hoe kan ek wil so onkundig is om sulke goede te doen vir 'n wyse mens.
And then people tell me to rather go to Mr. Besaidnout and take my share money and buy myself a car and buy myself a house, but that is not what I want to do.
Dis al wat ek net wil vra asseblief. Ek waardeer dit grootlik as u my net kan help.
That's all I wanted to ask, and I appreciate if you could help me.
Baie dankie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to the gentleman that has just made an input here. I will, as I have actually indicated, and now allow honorable members to share their perspectives of what they've just heard. I will recognize hands. Okay. Any other hands? Okay. Are you okay? Are you having your hand up, Honorable Nana? Yeah, this is Africa. You must speak. Okay. Then I will start off with the Honorable Maseko.
Thank you very much to Mr. Von Vogel for being with us today. We really appreciate you making time to come, and also to the department and the colleagues. I think I do have only about a few questions. I'm not going to say how many. Maybe the first question, it will be to the department. And it will be I mean, you did spend about 3.1 for the acquisition of the 40% of for the equity stake on behalf of these beneficiaries. So I want to find out that what measures that you have put in place maybe to make sure that as what happened, because now it's not the equity scheme, it's a private, it has changed from equity to be a private-owned farm, as we get the information. Were you aware, and what are the measures in place in making sure that the two that are remaining, they still have the shares in that equity scheme that is there? And the second one, it will be in complying with the objectives of the LRAT, because now it's a private property. The LRAT program, after beneficiaries lost effective ownership and the control of the enterprise, is there any monitoring of what is happening there in that private, I'm going to call it now the private property, because it became a private property if the beneficiaries have signed over. And again, I'm going to lean on the protector of when that was changing. Did the department register that, agree for it to be a private property? Was there any representation from the department? And the title deeds, did they have the title deeds to can have the powers, this remaining two can still have the powers within that where they allocated those title deeds for them to can know what percentage do they have in the ownership, as Mr. Van Vogel is saying that he needs assistance because he just wants to be a farmer. Maybe if you can lash on to also mentioning if whether you have approved or notified, if you can get that information in the meantime, if the members are going to ask some other question. And maybe if you can also, the last one, what assistance can it be there for the two remaining in making sure, if they have to lash into the assistance that is needed, what is it that they can do? If Mr. Van Vogel leaves today, what will be the step 1, 2, 3, 4 with the other beneficiary that they have to do for assistance, 1, and for 2, to can access the land that you have acquired for him, and number 3, to can make sure that he does a bit of farming. What do you have for him that he can use, the tools of trade for him that he can use for him to can be able to farm? I think that is all from me. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next member would be Honorable Mteto.
Thank you, Chair, and greetings to honorable members and greetings to our fellow officials and our petitioners and our civil society in today's meeting. I'm trying to cool myself out of the arrogance of the white farmers in 32 years of democratic dispensation, and I'm now concluding that these white farmers have not changed from the apartheid old order and the colonial old order since 1910, the Union of South Africa, and they are continuing with that arrogance. And number 2, I'm comparing now because we are from Lutando Farm, and there's a contrast between Lutando Farm and Bakis Wook Trust. Here's a contrast. In Lutando Farm, we found the black owners owning 70%, and then the whites owning 25%. But the white, who is a minority, controls the entire operation, including bank accounts and sales and exports, to the point that the one who sits with 75% has no power at all. And what they've done, they've run the farm to a standstill, to a deadlock, that nothing will happen until their will is done. Come here in this one, Bakiswood Trust, you found a farmer who's desperate, a white farmer, who's desperate for a signature of a black partner to sign. But the idea that he is advancing is not the interest of the partner, is something else, and it's about sales. So which means, in law we call it mala fide. Here is a partnership of 2 parties, but they are not engaging in good faith. Mr. here is actually interested to acquire a farm so that he can start his life in the farming economy. You have a farmer whose interest is profit maximization and sales, to the point of even forging signatures. In law, we have a term when you force someone to sign, we say under duress. So you're forcing someone to sign, and whatever that person that is gonna sign, it will be known you have practiced duress for that person to sign, because you use fear, you use intimidation, you use eviction. And this is the caliber of the white farmers in the entire Cape region now, because we're from Western Cape and they were doing the same thing. So I'm concluding to say we are done in experimenting with our people against white farmers. And that should be registered. And it means we will tell our people out there, we have an animal that we need to deal with here. The very people who dispossessed you, today they're still lording over you using laws. Today the law, the court, the commercial laws that are being applied are still now used against a black person. And so that they don't thrive. So if the story is the same, from wherever we started till here, the behavior is the same. Yesterday, we had even a landmark experience. We were kept at the gate of a white farmer who don't have a clue that in that operation they're in, there are blacks who are shareholders in that, and they're running the operation. And that, for me, it gave us a clear mark to say, this pseudo, that's the term, that pseudo partnership with white farmers is a lie. And it's a lie that even us as parliament, even when we are in front of the gate, we saw that white man telling his security to say, close the gate as we were coming. And he closed us out, and he shook our hand while he's on the other side. Now, so when we sit here, you don't see this thing, that these farmers, this is how they behave. So we caught them yesterday. They were very arrogant. And they didn't know that seated there, it was us noting their behavior. So which means we get our people to say they're in the equity share scheme. But yesterday, what we saw there was not an equity share scheme. It is a white man running his operation and getting a justification that he's got black partner so as to tick the boxes and dot all the I's and cross all the T's according to government laws and system. But the status quo remains the same. So that's the message I want to communicate. I'm not going to engage on anything because I've seen their arrogance. I've seen the paperwork that was served here. It is a copy of a summarized version of what is happening, not the truth. They can hoard documentation. They don't want to share them. And they think we are fools. We are not educated and we can't see through them. And we can. And we're going back with that message to say our people are still oppressed. To the point that even our officials in government, they have no control and power. They've lost the ground against the commercial white farmer who are organized not just here in Humansdorp alone, the entire country. So we're dealing with the same. And with that, I would like to say the heads are going to roll. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. May I please allow Honorable Nkletama to make a contribution?
Thank you, Chair. And I greet you all in the House. I am come this morning because we have heard the same story of abuse of our people who are supposed to be owners on these farms. And what troubles me the most is the role of the state of government in protecting our people. So I just have a few questions and comments. The first is, Isiban is a PA, despite the fact that it is a CPA, we have had the challenges in that scheme, that program. So, Chairperson, I want to suggest that we ask the department to provide us with a written report on their intervention on that CPA, what are the challenges and what they have done to resolve the matter. And then on the grassland, the report we received from the department is that it's a glowing scheme. It's doing very well. But we are not being told what are the benefits to the beneficiaries. Can the department indicate if the beneficiaries have, for instance, received, they're not beneficiaries, they are owners. Have these owners received any dividends? And if so, which years and how much. Because at the end of the day, if you are an owner, you must benefit. Otherwise, why you are an owner? And this thing that people are owners and they are farm workers at the same time, and all they get is the salary of farm worker. It means your situation have not changed. Despite the fact that now you are supposedly an owner, money has been given to the white man to say now you are a partner in this farm. But you don't derive any benefits of your status as a partner. So, can we get a sense of the dividends being paid out to the owners of grassland? And then, Tatu Abram, your story is very sad, but it's the same story. You know, these farm equity schemes, farm worker equity schemes, are an evil project. Government thought that it was assisting our people, but it is clear that it has put our people even in a worse situation. Here stands an owner of a farm, has no place to stay, has no income, but the farm is productive. No, this cannot be. We must do better for our people. So on that farm of Tatu Abram, I just need to get a sense of who is the protector there. Who is the protector? They must come in front here, the protector. That is supposed to look after the interests of those owners. We understand the farm has been sold multiple times. Is the protector in the house? Please, the protector must give us a response around what they have done to protect these owners who are saying they don't want to sell. And they are being abused, they are being intimidated to get rid of the land. So we must hear from the protector and the department. Again here, Chair, I want to suggest that we must get a written report as the committee as to what you are doing to protect the interests of Tatu Abram on that farm and the other owner who has resisted. And I want to give my respect to Tatu Abram. I give my respect to you for resisting to get rid of your land because you understand the value of land. Your ancestors will be with you, Baba. You are doing a very good thing, protecting your land, but you are being failed by this government. This government has thrown you to the wolves. No, we must do better. We must get a report on what the department is doing here to protect the interests of Tatu Abram and the other owner, who is also, we understand, under a very desperate situation. We cannot do this. This is evil. We have become agents of evil, the way we treat our people. And also as parliamentarians, we can't come here and hear the sob story, the sad story of our people, and go to Cape Town and nothing happens. We must use our oversight responsibility to make sure that the department does what it's supposed to do, including the minister. This is not okay. Money of our people has been given to these farmers to buy shares in these farms for our people. Our people are no longer farm workers. They are owners, but they are not being treated as owners. They are still treated as landless people who are powerless, despite the fact that we understood the relationships. That is why there's a protector. These protectors are protecting white farmers against our people. That is the story I've heard, the consistent story I hear. They are protectors, but they don't protect our people, despite the fact that they have legislative powers to do so. They don't even look at the books. They protected themselves. The farmer says, no, I can't show you, and then the protected goes home. Or maybe takes some money from the prime envelope, we don't know. Ndiyabulela, Chair.
Thank you. Can we be given some more water to? Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Member. You're taking some now. Honorable Nana.
Thank you very much, Chairman. For a minute, I was surprised when Honorable Ntama said he was going to become, and I knew he wasn't. He was not going to become. Chair, these are truly harrowing stories. And for us as this committee, probably at some point we will need some therapy, because we've had these stories all over again. From where I'm seated, I'm actually embarrassed, Mr. Van Gaffel. I'm very embarrassed. There is one possibility that DDG, your officials are sleeping on the job and are sitting on their hands. I keep on saying this, colleagues. It cannot be business as usual. It's unacceptable. Officials are getting paid to do their work. And very clearly, somebody has not been doing his or her work in this regard. And it's unacceptable. Only this morning I was asking Mr. Mgedes, we are getting followed by a serious cohort of officials wherever we go. In the past 2-3 days we've been here. And only him, the DDG, and sometimes Mr. Konlaga that are participating in these meetings. And I was saying to him, we cannot do things the same old way and we expect to succeed. And so, DDG, something has got to be done. Something has got to drop. It can't be, Mr. Mgedes, it can't be Zwy. You guys should be embarrassed of this situation. I mean, you can see for yourself that the majority of the people that are being taken for a ride by farmers are people with very limited education, and are being taken for a ride precisely because they have got limited education. You are well educated, you can read, you can write, you are getting paid to do your work, and yet you are failing these people. I wanted to second Honorable Mngxitama in his proposal that the department should submit a written report with regards to Isibane CPA. But I wanted to add a rider to that proposal. That Bau Achi, it's good enough to give us oral reflections of what happened. But mhlambi nani noba nendlela of reducing what you told us into writing and submit it to Parliament. That will be useful. Going forward, Chair, I want to establish from you, sir, the signings that, the documents that people were signing, were these, and they were given 120,000 rand in return, were they selling their shares, or it was acknowledgement of dividends? How many of you have, if those 120,000 were selling shares, how many of those people have sold their shares? I know there was 28, and you said it's 3 of you left, so I got confused a bit. And to the protector and the department, when entering into these share schemes, isn't there a clause that protect people that are vulnerable, the people that I've referred to? Isn't there a clause that, or a proviso that as a department, Mr. Mgedes, you insert, for instance, isn't there a clause that would say the farm workers who are now part owners of the farm may not sign documents having not consulted with you, or the farmer may not compel farm workers to sign documents, you having not had sight of such a document? Thanks very much.
The next one will be
Thank Chairperson. Good morning, my fellow countrymen. It's a very painful story. And it's a worrying factor that we're not interacting directly with the beneficiaries. But that's where we get wisdom to resolve problems. We respect their representatives. We appreciate their role. But to interact directly with the grassroots is what, for me, is pivotal in dealing with these problems. I'm appreciating and must take note of a project that is going very well. We're told that that project is going very well. But I'm definitely sure if you go to the ordinary people on the ground, they will cite some problems. And it's tantamount to deny us of information that might be used to resolve other problems. And I'm not happy about the fact that they are not here. And I know it's a tendency to our people, when things are going okay, they don't see a need to share their stories with government. But immediately things go sour, they put pressure on government, even blaming government in dealing with this question. And I'm saying, I don't know how we're going to interact with that group of beneficiaries. But there's still a need to understand exactly how is it that they did to sustain relations to the extent that has been shared with us here. We will listen to these harrowing stories for as long as the land has not been returned to our people. We'll always listen to these very painful stories. And I think this portfolio committee must dig deeper as to how then do we move beyond projects and begin to deal with the fundamental issue, that of actually returning the land. These projects really inflicting pains to our people. And I don't understand. Okay. The budget allocated to this 60-40% to the project of Mr. Abrams. Shareholding of 60-40. Because I'm interested to know the overall allocation for this project. What was it? And how many hectares that were handed over to this grouping? I hear the number of shareholders, I think 5 shareholders. And for me, the number of beneficiaries again becomes critical, so that we understand exactly whether there were dividends accrued or not. Now, again, there comes the role of the protectors, which is in black and white. Yesterday, we were assisted by the Legal Resource Center to read out the role of the protectors. And I could not pick up any role that they have played across the spectrum, across all these projects that were assisted here by a protector or intervened by department through a protector. I couldn't pick up. And maybe it's another matter that must be looked at as to exactly what then becomes the role of a department, because yesterday they were attempted at all times to distance themselves in some of the issues that were raised until we clarified of the role of a protector, which is pivotal for me in establishing good relations between these whites and shareholders in this partnership. The third issue that worries me is the audit of these farms that were handed over to our people, the question of assets and properties located in these farms. Because our people are only focusing to a question of plowing crops, etc., that, not necessarily focusing to a bigger picture. The properties that are in these farms. Investigation across these equity schemes. Was a lot has gone wrong. And I think I must emphasize that, including this farm of Mr. Abrams, truth as to what exactly happened around this particular, so that the law take its course in the process. We're just lamenting here on this side, but it's not enough to lament and be frustrated like the beneficiaries. Our responsibility is to resolve the problem. It's relevant even in here. It was a blunder to embark on a program that you have not researched, because it's clear that this equity scheme had ulterior motives, not necessarily to resolve the problems of land in this country. Whoever then was involved really did a disservice to our people as far as this is concerned. This lamentation, Chair, does not resolve this question of ownership and control of the land. It's unfortunate, and I think our focus should be on that. Whatever program now that we're adopting must be able to have an impact in terms of ownership and the control of the land, so that irrelation is not spontaneous, but is guided by principles and policies of government. It must not be accidental that this project is going very well because there's a kind of good relations between this. It's a fortunate situation, but at the same time, you don't have a policy that ensures that those relations are sustained at all material time. I blame squarely the department on this one. I was a chairperson of a portfolio committee in another CAP last year. Whilst we were refusing to admit our children in model schools in Port Elizabeth, they constitute 9% of the overall schooling population in the province. But they were refusing. They went to court and they win cases in courts not to admit black learners in their schools. I spoke to the coordinator to say, what is your responsibility? You're getting paid a huge amount of money. You're paying more than me. But what is your responsibility to ensure that these learners that are going up and down the streets are admitted to those schools? Well, these are public schools. Until such time, the coordinator took a decision on his own to make himself a hostage in some of the schools. He decided to sit in some of the schools and call us. Get into a school, sit in and call us. Until the problem was resolved. To date, black learners are admitted to all those schools. You need a revolution to resolve some of the problems. And therefore you need not just officials, but activist officials. Activist officials. Officials who understand the plight of our people. And because they have got all the time, they've got the mandate, they've got the policies, they are implementers. In such situations, I'm sure some people are committing suicide because of this frustration, but we're not aware as of now. And I'm saying, I put blame on and I'm not saying politicians are immune of these problems. Not at all. But the fact that we are going with the army of officials even today, wherever we go, army of officials of the department, but there's little that we gain. There's very little. Out of the whole team and contingents of officials, national, provincial, we've got an experience of CPAs, countrywide, a big team of officials. But when you come out of a meeting, there's little that we gained. And that's a problem and that we have. And therefore, when it comes to problems of this nature, I still waiting for a day when officials will stand up and say, we had this particular problem, we resolved it. And we're confident that we've intervened and we resolved it. You don't get that story. We don't. And what's the purpose of being accompanied by a big contingent of officials? Wasting the time of ordinary people. And yet there's legal output that we can register as a portfolio committee. And that's why I'm saying the role of a protector is to protect our people, not protect the farm owners. That's the fundamental role of a protector. Then if that protector is not successful, the department should be aware that our protector is not successful. And therefore, what must we do? Thanks, sir.
Thank you, honorable members, for your inputs. I wonder if the department would like to respond to some of the issues that were, or even questions that were asked. And also, I wonder if the NGOs would also like to respond if there was any comment made that would actually warrant their response. Before the department comes forward, I would also request them to, in their response, to include the comments made by Mr. Van Vogel, because I know that when they first, made their inputs, they did not include the sad story that Mr. Adams Van Vogel actually shared with us. So I would ask the department to give their own perspective of what the gentleman has shared with us. Madam DDG. Why is our mic on? Why do we have only one mic now? Oh, there it is, okay.
Thank you, Chairperson. Tatu Kongeka no Tatu Mketezi, be on the standby because now will address few issues and we have to take the responsibility of the rest. Chairperson, I think it was yesterday when I've indicated to the portfolio committee members that some of these issues have now become one of those serious matters that were brought to the attention of myself recently as last year. However, there are some pertinent issues that the chairperson is asking. One of those issues is whether has the department done the audit? The collapse of the scheme. Chairperson, I once wanted to indicate that the last time that the department received the report was received a report that was
Use my.
The report that the colleagues are referring to is Zalo or Inzalo report, something like that. The outcome of the investigations that was done was delivered to the department during 2013 financial year. I was also led to believe, as I was discussing with acting DG last night after the engagement, having to give the feedback, the not kind feedback to the acting DG, and the absence of the relevant DDG and his team who was tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that the recommendations that were put onto the report are implemented. Some of those issues surely might have been to do the quiet audit of what was still remaining, what can be salvaged from those equity schemes. I think that information, I commit that I will submit within the next 7 days to the portfolio committee in terms of the audit as to whether it was done or not done. Chairperson, the issue of this farm equity scheme, it's a bitter pill to swallow. It is a bitter pill to swallow because when it was introduced, I was led to believe it was in 1994, 1995, immediately after the elections. And the purpose of the introduction of that was to help the farm workers who were the farm workers at the time and their families to be part of the business. One thing that I can categorically state, having been an auditor myself, I do not think we as government officials, we did a great job of explaining what it means to be a shareholder in some of the instances, which is one of those issues that one needs to see from the agreement as to what level have we explained, to what level have we taken the responsibility of training the very same people, giving them the basic training, because we were not to give an academic training. It was just to give a basic training that would have also assisted some of the farmers who ultimately have agreed to sell off their entire shareholding. So I am sure that with even some of the issues that were raised from my side, I will work very closely with the portfolio committee and provide all the necessary information to the portfolio committee. With this lesson, this thing, I've also learned a lot of some of the mistakes that we as government officials have committed. I cannot say I was not part. I am part of government. I am part of the decisions that were taken in 1994, regardless of what happened. But I'm part of that and I take responsibility. And Ndadem Ketezi and Ndade Gongeka, I'm sure you heard the comments of the portfolio committee members that we send an end on the ground in terms of what is expected. I think it's something that also even the acting DG has been complaining about, that each and every event we send, again, it is the responsibility of leadership. If leadership is failing to implement the strict mechanism, then you will find yourself in problems like this. And I will also address it again with my team, that not everybody is required in a meeting of this nature. Over to you, Dad.
All right, thank you so much, TTG, and greetings once again, honorable members. I think Honorable Maseko has raised quite a number of issues that I think many of them, they also transpired in the previous engagement, but there was one issue that talks to the protector. The protector was an official. Vivian List was charged for some of the projects that he was implementing and then sanctioned, and Mr. Josephs resigned. So that is what transpired. But also, as also alluded to by my boss, that probably as government, we've got a weakness of coming up with programs, not close them, come with new programs that then we assign officials to new programs without any assignment of officials to undergo the monitoring of previous programs that we have implemented. Therefore, we don't close programs. We implement, we leave, come with something new, leave the other one previously without making the necessary follow-up. And also, it also compromises our capacity, because now the officials that were supposed to be protectors are now allocated to new programs that are a priority at that particular point in time. Because I was looking at the organogram of the department. You've got officials allocated under strategic land acquisition, land development support, property management, tenure reform. Nothing that says there are officials that are allocated under equity schemes. Even when we do a job evaluation, at no point that I've ever come across in any particular post wherein it says part of the responsibility of this official is equity schemes. So I think that is one of the challenges that I think the department need to look into, and considering that maybe we add on that, as also articulated by my DDG. And then Honorable Mthethwa, I think for me, it was advice and that we were giving, and also the way forward in terms of what needs to be done. Honorable Mthethwa, we know that there should be a written report. My boss has also committed to that. And the grasslands, they are getting, every year, they're getting 50% of the proceeds or proceeds, profits. And also those that are employed, they also benefit through salaries. And as I've also stated, that they've got equal access to the account of the operating entity. And then Honorable Nana, truly harrowing stories. It cannot be business as usual. We are noting that we are going to improve, and also managing the cohort of officials that we are sending to this session. So basically those ones, in terms of the cost, these are local officials. They just use one vehicle and come, no booking or accommodation costs or anything like that. But we note that. And we move to, is there a clause that prohibits farmers from signing? During the trainings, they are advised to say that if you are not sure of something, please do not sign. Just engage the department so that the department can be able to explain to you. But now it goes back to the issues that came sharply yesterday, the issue of power dynamics, that they are scared of their former bosses, and they then sign under duress. And if some of these things are not escalated to the department, they happen behind the backs of our officials. And then Honorable Mkhaga, how many hectares were allocated? It's 36 hectares that were allocated. How much grant was dispersed? 3.9 million was dispersed. Protector, I alluded, I responded to the issue of the protector, the audit of farms. The DDG has responded to that. I think that's all. I don't know, Mr. Konyaga, if you've got something you want to add. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. It's just that Honorable Nana is not here because he was saying they need therapy after this. I have been needing therapy for the last 16 years because I started with share equity schemes in the Western Cape. And that's where the biggest chunk of the money went, whether it's share equity or it LRAD farms, because share equity schemes were hijacked by failing farmers. So they use what Auditor General at the time called rent a crowd. They round up people in the township, they get the grants from the department to save their farms. And when you visit the farms, which we did with the Auditor General at the time, you find the previous owner sitting in that same house, yake, and him and the auntie in the house are signing on whatever financial transactions were happening. I was reprimanded at the time by my bosses in Pretoria, because at that time when we raised these issues, they said we caused the department to have an qualified audit or so. So there has always been that suppression if you raise issues within the programs, because the bosses want clean audits, want to raise in parliament and. Instead of coming with solutions and say, how do we deal with these things? So I was one of the people who drafted the terms of reference for Uzalo report. I was in the Western Cape at the time. They got appointed. And at the time, we're looking at revising the equity schemes. There is a draft on equity schemes that was finally not signed. It was done in that period because Minister Ngwindi wanted to do this. So they came up now with the 50-50. There's a PwC report on 50-50. A lot of money has been lost there as well. But you can't raise these issues because you're going to result in audit of the department, qualified audit. So I just said, let me just clear that. We've been working on these things. They have been stressing us. And we are happy that you are here. It is a relief for us a lot. In terms of coming to the specific project, ma'am, there is a deed of trust. But we always had what we call a first right of refusal. We allowed that after 10 years, beneficiaries can sign, can sell. Because there was an issue that if you don't allow them to use this asset that they have to trade with it, you are killing the value of that asset. So if the 10 years hasn't passed and you wanted to sell, you were supposed to come to the department and the minister will make a determination if we are buying your share or we are allowing you to dispose to someone. The trust deed specifically says you must also offer within the group. Within the group, when you want to sell, you offer the shares. And if there's no one who wants to buy your shares in the business, then you can come to us. And then there's clause 13.6 specifically, because this is a trust, so usually it's with justice. Those that have been here for some time will know that at some point the Department of Justice wrote to the department and said, I don't want your trust. There are so many problems in your trust. Hence we then moved to what we now CPAs, because in CPAs we can intervene without being told that this is a private entity. So if there's a problem with the trust, there's a clause there that says the chairman of the Port Elizabeth Bar Council, also legal people will know these things better, must appoint a practicing advocate to deal with your matters and to resolve them, over and above what we call protectors in the trust deed. So that is how, those are the measures that were put in place to try and safeguard the interest of the beneficiaries. Okay, my boss has already spoken on the protectors. There were investigations, they were sanctioned. One resigned, one moved to the Free State. I don't know what. Okay, in terms of the support these are our support staff, Chairperson. And on CPAs, Ms. Nonjebo Mlinganiso is a specialist on that. So whenever there's information that is needed, we call them in. But the chief director is the face of the province, then talks and take a. Thank you, Chair.
And also, Chair, offline, we engaged with LRC and said, let's partner together, come up with an intervention plan and resolve these issues, because we are grossly handicapped in terms of legal expertise as the department. We come with the technical expertise in terms of agricultural assessment, and then they come with the legal support, and we strengthen our effort towards resolving these issues. Thank you.
There is another question coming from Member Maseko, which says whether this 40% equity scheme did comply with the objectives of LRAT. Did this comply with that?
Chair, every equity scheme on paper did comply. There was always a clause there of securing. The main issue was the securing the land rights. Hence, you will find here in the Eastern Cape that almost all of them had a land ownership component. But the issue, I think it's what you have raised, the power dynamics within these LRAT scheme was the challenge, because the 10 years lapses and allows the farmers to now sell freely without coming to the department. So that's how now they get to lose the rights on land. Otherwise, the policy from 1997 up to 2010 has always emphasized that there should be securing of tenure. Thank you.
I think that's almost all of the questions, Chairperson. And just on a lighter note, I think, Chairperson, as well, I've got quite a number of officials on all 9 provinces which has been charged with reference to these projects. And some of them, even today, are still going through their disciplinary hearings, and the charges leveled against them are almost charges that may lead to most of them being dismissed. Although some of them have raised their reservations, however, some of the issues could not be resolved, but now they become their responsibilities. Mr. Kongeka is one of those officials charged for this project, which he raised some of his reservations and concerns and raised his objections. However, at the end of the day, it sits with him.
I'm not sure whether you have responded to Mr.
And Tate Van Vochel's matter, I'm not sure, colleagues, whether you are aware of the concerns of Tate Van Vochel.
Tate Van Vochel approached the office and he dealt with Mr. Prinsloo, and unfortunately he was told that this is now a private matter. I have, as his immediate supervisor, dealt with that we will basically try and assist him. I've been communicated to Mr. Prinsloo to say a client, he can't come to the office to complain and just be told that this is a private matter, especially where we put our money in that project. So we will make sure that in the next 2 weeks we have a meeting with him. Thank you, Chair.
Can we hear from your CPA specialist with regard to the issues that you raised? Who comes from the CPA?
Okay. Good morning to the honorable members and everyone that is in the room. My name is Nonjebo Mlinganiso, Honorable members, I have noted the concern of Mr. Achim Kele. We are going to get his details in terms of Isibane CPA to try and resolve the issue that he has raised. We are aware that Isibane CPA is a project that is coming from the restitution office. They received land from restitution, and the land was handed over to the community and the families of, I think it's Grootboom, one of them, and the Mkeles. In that farm, I am aware that there are farm occupiers that are residing on that farm. So when they were given land back by restitution, the land had occupiers that had rights on the property. So now you have a situation where you have overlapping rights in one particular farm, in this particular farm. So we have your claimants and then you have farm occupiers. So as the office, together with restitution, we are trying to resolve this challenge of overlapping rights in one farm. We are going to engage with Tata Umkele and provide a report in the next 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DDG. Legal resources. Okay. Okay. Will I just to say that we are now under a serious time constraint? Yes.
I'm just going to repeat the questions to Mr. Abram in Afrikaans. Okay, vraag 1. Hoeveel beginsigtes was daar toe jy begin het? Hoeveel is daar nou? Wat het gebeur met die ander?
Ek wil net noem, ons was 28 members in die begin gewees.
I just want to mention we were 28 members at the beginning.
En op hierdie huidige oomblik is ons op hierdie oomblik as ons twee net, maar twee van die aandeelhouers het afgesterwe. En waarvan wanneer Besaidenout het vir hulle gesê hulle moet kom teken en hulle het hulle shares kry, maar nadat hulle geteken het, toe sê hy vir hulle moet vir hulle legal aid prokureur gaan kry om hulle aandele te kry.
At this stage we are only 2 shareholders where 2 of them has passed away. Or 2 others has passed away, and Mr. Besaidenout said they should come sign things, the people that are still alive. Okay, vraag 2. Die beginsigtes wat 120,000 ontvang het, was dit vir aandele of wat? En het beginsigtes verstaan dat hulle hul aandele verkoop en het hulle hul geld ontvang?
Hierdie 120 wat hulle gekry het, was vir hulle shares uitverkoop. En die rede waarom hulle moes verkoop, van al die jare wat ons so aangekom het ons nooit geld gekry nie. En wat hy gedoen het, hy het die mense geld geleen. Toe sê hy op die einde van die dag, as hulle aandele kry, dan moet hulle hom terugbetaal.
So the 120,000 that they received was for the shares that they sold, and Mr. Besaidenout never gave them any money. He said he borrowed them money, in fact, and said that they would need to pay this money back with their dividends that they would receive.
En vir jare wat ek daar was, het meneer Besaidenout my op die meeste net R8,000 geleen en waarvan niks meer verder.
And for the years I was there, Mr. Besaidenout borrowed me 8,000 rand. Okay, vraag 3. Het u enige dividende of geld ontvang sedert u die plaas besit en indien so hoeveel? En wanneer is u verkies as 'n begunstigde?
Ek is verkies as 'n begunstigde 2009.
I have been appointed as a beneficiary in 2009.
En ons het nooit geld te kry op die plaas. Die meneer Besaidenout het altyd gesê vir ons, daar is nie geld, die plaas maak nie geld nie.
And we never received any money or dividends on the farm. Mr. Besaidenout always told us there's no money and the farm is not making money. And then the last question was, vraag 4, met wie het u gepraat by die departement wanneer u hulp benodig en het hulle u gehelp?
Ek het met mevrou Mandisa gepraat by Land Affairs.
I spoke to Ms. Mandiza at Land Affairs.
Het was 2021. Ja.
I spoke to her in 2021.
En sorry net wat ek wou genoem het, meneer Besaidenout het gesê, daar's niks so lekker soos wat geld jou kan losmaak. Geld maak jou oral los in die lewe, no matter what dit is sê.
So Mr. Besaidenout mentioned this, and I just want to say that money frees you in life. There's nothing like money that can free you in life.
Dankie.
Thank you.
Meneer Besaidenout het gesê, daar's niks so lekker soos geld wat geld kan doen nie. Geld maak jou oral los, al wat dit ook al as geld maak jou los, het meneer Besaidenout gesê.
So Mr. Besaidenout said there's nothing like what money can do. Money frees you. So like money is very important, more important than land, I assume.
Thank you, Chair. No, it is for the officials, particularly the one representing National. There was a mention of the Price Water Cooper report on the 50-50 schemes. Can we, as a committee, be furnished with that report? Thank you.
Well, thank you, honorable members, and thank you, the department, for your responses, and thank you, everyone else who actually have contributed this morning. We actually have to stop here because we need to travel back, and there are other engagements that will take us throughout the day. But I do want to actually share my perspective on what I've been listening to. One is that there is a long thread throughout the country of miserable stories about land reform. Since we started shortly after the elections in 2024, our first port of call in terms of oversight was Mpumalanga. We had horrific stories there. Huge failures by the department. Then our next port of call was KwaZulu-Natal. Again, we were confronted with stories that actually caused sleepless nights on us. Then we went to Limpopo. Same horrific stories. Then we went to Northern Cape. Same horrific stories. Then we received a petition from equity schemes. We went to the Western Cape. Terrible stories. And we are here today. Since Thursday we've been here. There's nothing to write home about from what we have been hearing. So, to me, it points to a serious problem in the entire operations of the department. Yes, one accepts the fact that the department actually is a product of a divorce or a split between the Department of Agriculture and Land Affairs. But Land Affairs have been there for as long as I can remember. What is it that you can touch as a model of good success, a success story that you can actually go out and tell the people on issues of land reform? We have not touched rural development, which is another critically important aspect of our department. We are not there yet. But if you look at the amount of money that has actually been poured into the so-called land reform programs, there is nothing that you can actually say, no, it was money well spent. Now you begin to ask yourself, Uguti, where will it end? We hear that at least the department has now been able to appoint the Director General. Colleagues, we need to move in and move in very quickly, because the machinery in the department is actually failing us. Usisila was actually admitting things that we actually have had others also admitting in other provinces. So that is a pointer to me that something is seriously wrong in the entire operations of the department. Because there are permanent people whose job it is that every day must actually attend to these issues that we've been listening to here. But if these issues are persistently actually remain unattended, then you begin to ask yourself, what do people do on a daily basis? When you walk into your office, what do you do? Perhaps it's high time that as soon as the Director General is actually introduced to us, our next meeting, we must ask him to come armed with the department's organogram, so that we fully understand who is who in this zoo. And nokuthi sazi ukuthi what are their roles and responsibilities. Because we may be barking at the wrong tree. I'm saying this notwithstanding the risk of being accused of trying to micromanage the department. But what can we do if things are not happening? What should we do? I'm fully aware that our mandate, constitutional mandate, actually, enjoins us that we should actually exercise our oversight role over the executive authority and the accounting officer, in this instance, the Director General. But should we actually end there? Because every week, when we invite the department, they are going to be feeding us with information which cannot be verified. We go out on the ground, we find different stories. You go back to our offices, we read reports which are actually compiled in those glowing papers and things. They are telling something. You would think that we are reading about a project that exists somewhere in Hollywood or in. So, colleagues, we need to do a lot of reflection on these matters. On that note, there were specific requests that were made by honorable members in terms of reports. So one hopes that those officials responsible will be able to furnish us with those reports as soon as possible. But I am inclined to say we now need to go beyond just perusing and reading reports. The Zalo report itself was out in 2013, and it had specific recommendations. And it was actually calling for specific programs of action to address specific problems. It's now more than 10 years. It's more than 10 years. So there is a temptation that we could actually commission another investigation. To do what? When the Zalo report is there and has not been implemented as yet. The Auditor General's report of the department every time has, findings. To what extent are those findings been addressed? I don't know. So, honestly, colleagues, we cannot fail our people. We are politicians. We are here representing the interests of our people, and we dare not fail them. We just dare not fail them. We want to be re-elected, but for us to be re-elected, we must actually prove our worth. We must actually have something to put on the table before the electorate and said we succeeded in actually getting the department to do 1, 2, and 3 insofar as land reform and rural development is concerned. On that note, thank you so much, honorable members. Thank you so much, the senior officials of the department. Thank you so much, NGOs. Disappointed that we actually had not been able to interact directly with the people who petitioned us. Because the whole reason for us to be here was to interact directly with them, to understand the issues that they raised in their petition. So I just want to put that on record that we are very, very disappointed. Perhaps we need to improve our communications next time. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.